The staff room glowed with morning sunlight as Eleanor Foster adjusted the collar of her crisp uniform. A badge pinned neatly to her chest read Head of Cleaning. For over a decade, she had led the cleaning staff of a towering San Francisco high-rise, her presence as much a fixture in the building as the marble floors and glass walls. "Miss Eleanor, you're early again this morning," her colleague Maria called with a smile. Eleanor returned it warmly. "We've got a big job today, the 26th floor. The Hartwell Corporation's executive boardroom needs a deep clean." She checked her cleaning cart with practiced efficiency, then distributed work lists to her team. The staff respected her for her unmatched skill, quiet leadership, and genuine care for them. In 10 years, she had been honored 3 times as an exemplary employee, a fact that only strengthened the trust both tenants and her crew placed in her. "Everyone, thank you for your hard work today," she said, dismissing them with her usual encouraging smile. On her way to the 26th floor, Eleanor glanced at her phone. No messages, not from her younger sister, Vanessa, not since the announcement Eleanor had received secondhand from their mother last week. Vanessa was engaged. The silence since then spoke louder than words. Vanessa, who worked at a prestigious advertising agency, had recently become engaged to Richard Hartwell, a rising executive from a powerful corporation. Eleanor was proud of her sister's success, but beneath the pride was a hollow distance that had grown between them over the years. That evening, Eleanor drove out to her mother's house in the suburbs, the home where she and Vanessa had grown up. Their mother, Margaret, had been widowed young and raised her daughters alone. Though she had worked tirelessly, she never let go of her fixation on social standing. For Margaret, the measure of her daughters' worth was the brilliance of the marriages they made. As Eleanor pushed open the front door, familiar voices carried from the living room. "The wedding planner is bringing 3 seating chart designs tomorrow, with the Hartwell family's guest list. We need to get the balance just right," Margaret was saying. "We'll also need to include all of Richard's father's corporate connections," Vanessa replied, her tone businesslike. Eleanor stepped into the room. "Hello." Both women turned with surprise. Papers and charts were spread across the coffee table, evidence of long hours spent on preparation. "Eleanor, you should have called first," Margaret said, her tone clipped. Vanessa rose and offered a quick, polite hug. "It's been a while." Eleanor smiled gently. "Congratulations on your engagement. Mom told me. Richard Hartwell, is he from the Hartwell Corporation?" Vanessa's eyes lit up with a trace of pride. "Yes. He's Jonathan Hartwell's only son. His father is extraordinary, such a gentleman." Eleanor's breath caught. Jonathan Hartwell. She knew the name well, one of the most powerful figures in the very building where she worked. Though she had never met him, his face was familiar from photos and company news. "So," she asked carefully, "when is the wedding?" "The 15th of next month," Margaret answered quickly. "Preparations are already overwhelming." Eleanor hesitated before asking, "I haven't received an invitation yet. When should I expect it?" The air shifted. Margaret and Vanessa exchanged an uneasy glance. "Well," Vanessa began. Her mother cut in. "About the invitations, we're still deciding." Eleanor frowned. "What do you mean?" Margaret's voice was calm, almost cold. "The Hartwell family is very distinguished. In their circle, appearances matter." Eleanor's voice tightened. "Mom, what are you trying to say?" Margaret exhaled slowly. "To be honest, Eleanor, your occupation poses a problem." "My occupation?" Eleanor's voice rose. "I take pride in what I do." "I know, but," Vanessa tried to explain. Margaret interrupted again. "We've told them you're the head of the Corporate Facilities Management Division." Eleanor froze. "You lied?" "It isn't a lie, just a different phrasing," Margaret said, dismissive. "The Hartwells think my sister is," Vanessa faltered. Margaret finished without flinching. "We told them you passed away. It's better they never know we have a daughter who cleans buildings." For a moment, Eleanor couldn't breathe. Her own mother had erased her existence. "This is Vanessa's chance," Margaret continued, her voice stripped of feeling. "Please, just understand." Eleanor rose slowly, a lump tightening her throat. Her voice, though trembling, was steady. "I understand." At the door, she turned back, her eyes glistening with restrained tears. I am not ashamed of my work. What's shameful is a mother who would deny her own daughter. Then she left, holding her tears in until the night air swallowed her whole. Eleanor's voice was calm, though her eyes burned. So, what exactly did you tell the Hartwell family, Mom? Margaret hesitated, then spoke with unsettling composure. I told them you died 10 years ago, a car accident. Eleanor gasped. The words landed like a blow. 10 years ago, her mother repeated flatly. It was tragic, but we've moved on. Eleanor's throat tightened. The idea that her existence could be erased so easily left her trembling. Sister, Vanessa's voice cracked with urgency. Please, don't contact the family. Don't come to the wedding. Just 2 weeks, pretend you don't exist for us. Eleanor rose to her feet. Tears glistened in her eyes, but her voice stayed steady. I cannot believe a family would be ashamed of its own daughter. I wake up before dawn every day to make sure people have a clean, comfortable place to work. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Eleanor, Margaret began, but Eleanor cut her off. Lies like yours always come back, she said coldly, her gaze unwavering. What kind of future can you build on deceit? If this is how you see me, then leave. Don't come back. Margaret and Vanessa tried to protest, but Eleanor's hardened stare drove them to the door. The moment it shut, her strength crumbled. She collapsed onto the sofa as years of hurt and rejection broke free in sobs. The pain of being denied, of being written out of her family's story, poured from her in golden tears that caught the glow of the setting sun. Her eyes drifted to the framed certificates of recognition on the wall. I'm not wrong, she told herself, clinging to the quiet dignity of her work. A week before the wedding, San Francisco lay shrouded in its familiar morning fog. Eleanor arrived early at Hartwell Tower, gathering her team for the building's annual deep clean. Let's begin with Building B, she instructed the 20 staff members assembled before her. Pay extra attention to the executive floors. Hartwell Corporation has a board meeting the day after tomorrow. While her team dispersed, Eleanor reviewed schedules on her tablet. Immersing herself in work had been her only refuge since the confrontation 5 days earlier, though the memory still burned fresh in her chest. By 10 a.m., she was on the 26th floor, methodically polishing the tall glass windows. Beyond the smudgeless pane stretched the city, bathed in soft light as the sun broke through the clouds over the bay. A magnificent view, isn't it? The deep, steady voice startled her. She turned and froze. A man in a finely tailored suit stood behind her. She knew him instantly. Jonathan Hartwell, the owner of the building, Richard's father. Mr. Hartwell, she said quickly, bowing slightly. Good morning. Good morning. His smile was warm. You're working so early. Thank you. It's the annual deep cleaning, Eleanor replied evenly. We take extra care on days like this. His eyes softened with interest. Are you in charge of this floor? It's always spotless, I'm grateful. Yes, sir, Eleanor said. I serve as head of cleaning for the building. Jonathan glanced at her name badge. Miss Foster, I've heard of you. Management speaks very highly of your work. Eleanor blinked, surprised. Someone of his stature, aware of her? Yes, she admitted quietly. I love this job. That's what matters most. He paused, gazing out the window. I started with cleaning myself, sweeping floors in my father's small company. Her shoulders eased. And now you own this building, she said with a faint smile. He chuckled. Yes, that's why I admire honest workers like you. Then his expression shifted, more personal. Actually, my son is getting married next week. Eleanor's heart clenched. Congratulations, she managed, holding her voice steady. Thank you. His fiancée is a wonderful young woman, the youngest daughter of the Foster family. Are you related to them by any chance? Eleanor's breath caught. She hesitated, then forced a careful smile. No, just a coincidence with the name. I see. Jonathan studied her thoughtfully. I heard she had a sister, but sadly, she died in an accident about 10 years ago. A sharp pain pierced Eleanor's chest. Is that so? She whispered. Yes. When Richard learned about it, he said, I wish her sister were still alive. Family is important. After all, Jonathan's voice carried genuine regret. Eleanor's lips trembled. But she forced herself to remain composed. She could not bring herself to shatter his kind sincerity with the truth. Jonathan gave her another smile. "I've taken enough of your time. Please, continue your work. I hope we'll speak again." Eleanor bowed slightly. "Of course." When he left, the floor felt suddenly emptier. Eleanor turned back to the window, her reflection staring back at her from the glass. Her heart was a storm, torn between truth, lies, and the weight of being erased.